Howdy YouTubers! Today we're going to talk about a subject that's very near and dear to my heart. It's called MotoFitness and being healthy and living to be 100. All of those things. So stay tuned, see what we have to say. Okay, so today we're going to talk a little bit about MotoFitness and just how to be healthy, how to live to be 100. You know, how to enjoy your life and live your best life. Okay, so many of you may know I'm actually a nurse practitioner. I practice a lot of kind of integrative medicine, functional medicine actually, with my veteran patients. And this is something that's very near and dear to my heart. You know, I love helping people be healthy. And so I thought maybe we could talk about that a little bit. So as we ride, so how do we live good and live to be old? You know, first of all, I think it's about the most simple thing in the world. Eat a healthy diet and move your body. That's the bottom line. But there's some other things, too, that are important to know. I talk with my patients all the time. I'm sure they're tired of hearing me about the role that inflammation plays in poor health and how we want to avoid that. So I talk all the time about eating a diet that is low in processed carbohydrates. So cake, cookies, crackers, pasta, bread, those should be the very least of your diet. And one of those seldom things, the things that you only eat once in a while, not very often at all. Lean meats, vegetables, especially colorful fruits and vegetables like wild blueberries, strawberries, raspberries, avocados, leafy greens like, spinach and broccoli and that type of thing are amazing as antioxidants. So they help to kind of clean your body up at a cellular level. So drinking a lot of good water. That is amazing. And try not to drink your calories. In America, we're probably one of the only cultures out there that drinks our calories. All of the soda pop and the coffee drinks that are, 1,000 calories each, or maybe some aren't that, 300, 400 calories in a coffee drink, that we've all grown so accustomed to here in this country. And milk and milkshakes and, beer. All of those things, those are straight up carbohydrates that really get you nothing. Even the fruit juices. When I talk to people about drinking fruit juice, it's maybe add a little splash of it to your water if you're not a water drinker to make your water more palatable. But that's it. Because honestly, even fruit juices don't contain much of anything that's good other than a whole lot of sugar. So, the best bet, if you are a big caffeine lover and you need to get caffeine in your diet, you know what? I always recommend that you try to do that with iced tea, unsweetened iced tea. If you have to sweeten it, give it a little bit of stevia. But try not to, and try to get used to drinking it without sweetener. Actually, iced tea, there have been some studies that show that it actually lowers blood pressure. So it can actually be a really good thing. And it's good, and it gives you that little caffeine boost that so many of us kind of crave. So the other thing, let's see, so water, iced tea, coffee is okay as long as you're, like I said, not drinking it with a whole bunch of additives and, sweeteners and junk. A little bit of, kind of black coffee, not harmful. Although, I'll tell you right now, it will keep you awake at night. Even if you don't think it is, it probably is. So if you're having a problem sleeping, see if you can't slowly wean yourself off of the coffee and see if that helps. So what else? What else can we do? So my big recommendation, though, is not just for good food, although that's a big one. And we probably never eat enough fish. Fish and lean chicken without the skin. That's probably your best bet if you have to. And really make your diet be more vegetables than anything. And like I said, I can never really say too much about things like, nuts and avocados. They're really good for you. So there have been a few things that I have come upon lately that I think are important to talk about for the purpose of aging well and for living your best life now. Let's see, the role of building new synapses. And they say that, I've just read this and I thought this was brilliant and fabulous, that doing something hard every day, like this, trying to improve your skills on a dirt bike or mountain biking or running or, something that takes some thought typically and some effort and something you might get hurt and you might have to work hard at, actually helps as we age to build new synapses, to keep your brain young and working better, to avoid dementia. So I think that's a good thing. The other thing is, and this is one that I'm really kind of trying to work on, is decreasing neurotoxins like alcohol. Honestly, it's fine in very small, infrequent amounts. A glass of red wine or a low carbohydrate beer. Okay, but try not to do it every day. Try to avoid, overdoing it and, avoid intoxication, because that's actually a neurotoxin and it will, in fact, actually hurt you and hurt your brain. And none of us want to get old without our brain coming along for the ride. So, the other thing, I was listening to Mark Hyman on his doctor's pharmacy the other day, and he was talking about, in fact, he had a guest on there who was kind of the godfather of, or the research scientist who found out about nitric oxide and its critical role in function. And so, they had some fascinating things to say. First of all, when it came to diet and exercise, of course, just the things that I've been talking about, eat healthy. And they also said that one of the things, that there's nitric oxide, it actually helps to dilate your blood vessels, and which helps everything. Helps your heart to function better. It helps your sexual function. It actually is the thing that causes Viagra to work. So how do we increase that? One simple thing. Breathe through your nose. Simple. Because we apparently have a whole lot of nitric oxide sitting within our nasal passages. And that will, by simply breathing through our nose, we're bringing that into our system. So sometimes, of course, you have to breathe through your mouth, but if you can breathe through your nose, do it. All right, how about exercise? So we all know, anybody who rides dirt bikes knows that this is amazing exercise. Of course, trying to keep up a race pace, there's something. And trying to ride for 2 to 3 hours at a time without stopping, I think is a great way to build some endurance. Probably going faster than I am right now and working harder at it. Because you can tell I'm not really working hard at it right now. I'm not huffing or puffing or anything like that. Although, let me tell you, I sure do at times. And you can always tell because I'm huffing and puffing. But, so this, what else do I recommend? Some good cardio. And I'll tell you what, I can always tell my patients when they come in, those who are fairly fit, who aren't on any medications or anything that lowers their heart rate, because oftentimes they have a pulse in the 50s. Yeah. So, cardiac fitness usually ends up with a lower pulse. And that's a good thing. That tells me you're overall a little more fit. So a little cardio. So my own personal routine, what do I do every day? I get up in the morning at 5 o'clock and I take care of my pups. They are good for my mental, emotional health. I love my dogs. Even though those of you who have watched this before see what complete jerks they are with the bike. We're working on that, by the way. So more training is happening with them every day with the bikes. And so far they're doing pretty good. So my routine, I get up, I take care of them, and I do about 30 minutes of yoga. My favorite is Yoga with Adriene on YouTube, which is easy because obviously if you're sitting here watching this right now, you watch YouTube, so you have the capability of doing that. So Yoga with Adriene, you could start out in the beginner level, which is easy, And if you can't do something, or if something hurts too much to do it, well, back off on that. Don't do that thing. Go to the next thing. Or do a modified version of whatever it is. No shame in that. The thing I love about yoga, actually, is that I think it really helps with flexibility. And flexibility is something we all need as we age. It really is. We all need to stay flexible, because flexibility is what's going to keep you from falling when you get older. So we also know that weight-bearing exercise is absolutely great for keeping your bones strong and your muscles. So anything weight-bearing is a good idea. And I kind of consider this weight-bearing too. I'm going to tell you what, this is good on my muscles and my bones. My own doctor says that I am doing my own bone density test every day on this deal. She's right, because I fall a lot, and so far I've been pretty lucky. Bones are holding up pretty good, although I do always have bruises. That much is true. So, weight-bearing exercise. One of my most delightful patients, oh my gosh, he is the best. He is 87 years old, and he said that he every morning he gets up and he does 50 push-ups. He says now they're not push-ups on the floor like he did when he was younger. He does them up against the counter. He hangs onto the countertop and he does his push-ups into the countertop in his kitchen every day. And I thought, that's brilliant. That is absolutely brilliant. And so I started doing it too. I thought, if my 87-year-old patient can do this, so can I. So I started doing that. I also have a HIIT trainer. It's kind of like an elliptical. I do about 25 minutes on that every morning. And there are some mornings I get up and I'm like, well, I didn't have enough sleep. I'm not going to do anything. And I skip some mornings. I'm not perfect. Always trying to get better. And sometimes I eat too much. Even good healthy food, you can always eat too much. So I think it's a good idea to try to avoid that. Another thing I wanted to share is, about quitting smoking. One of our cardiologists at the VA was talking about it in a meeting we had the other day, and he was talking about quitting smoking and how it's an issue of impulse control. And it's just controlling your impulses. So, for quitting smoking, and I think this can go for overeating as well. If you can avoid giving into temptation for 3 to 5 minutes, they say that your cravings actually only last 3 to 5 minutes each. That's all you have to do, is overcome 3 to 5 minutes. Not to say that you won't have more cravings down the road, whether it be food or cigarettes or, whatever you're giving up. But 3 to 5 minutes. One down, and the more you are successful at controlling your impulses, the easier that impulse control will become. And the less often you'll have those cravings. The less often you give in, the less often you'll have them. So, if you are a smoker, there's a few things I recommend for that. And that's one of those things you really do want to quit. And I think one of the problems with cigarettes is not just, the fact that you're taking something into your lungs that doesn't belong there. I think it has to do with the amount of carcinogens and stuff that's in those cigarettes. All those additives are just chemicals that you're putting in your body that your body not only doesn't need, but doesn't like. So, quitting smoking is one of the best things you will ever do. Trust me, I quit myself about 20 some odd years ago. And best thing ever. So if you're trying to quit smoking, I recommend scheduling your cigarettes. Cut down to every 2 hours to start with, and go odds or evens. Say, okay, I'm going to smoke at 8 a.m., 10 a.m., 12 a.m., 12 p.m., 2 p.m., 4 p.m., so on and so forth. And if you're more than 15 minutes off, you got to wait, because otherwise it'll just turn into a continual smoking, and then that doesn't help. But if you can do that until you start weaning yourself down, and then when you're comfortable with every 2 hours, go to every 4 hours. Once you're comfortable with every 4, go to every 8 until you've weaned yourself down to nothing. Use your tricks on impulse control to get past the cravings, and just throw them away. I mean, truthfully, you don't need Chantix. You don't need nicotine patches. You can do it without. And it's probably the healthiest way to do it. So now we've kind of covered all the vices, right? And the exercise, diet, drinking more water. Most of us don't drink enough water. Almost always when I talk to my patients that have frequent headaches, it's because they don't drink enough water. So drink, drink, drink. Drink for health, drink for your life. Your body needs it. Your muscles need it. Your brain needs it. So I think we're going to start talking about these subjects. This is just kind of an overview that I kind of wanted to talk about for healthy aging. Hopefully you're getting something out of this. If you want me to do more of these, let me know. I'd be happy to, because I love for people to be healthy. I mean, that's what I do. And I love if people want to be healthy and ride motorcycles, because that's the best. All right, so if you want to see more of these videos, please hit me up in the comments. Let me know. Let me know what you want to learn about. And as always, thanks for watching. I sure appreciate it. Like and subscribe. Hit the notifications bell. All that business. And I'll see you next time.